So I'm back. I guess I'm the only one. I'm early to church tonight for a change. But, so I'm just sitting here now. But I wanted to share what I did in Bible study. Talked about in Bible study today. I've been trying to stick to studying my Bible every morning. And this morning I read Matthew chapter 21 verses 18 through 26. And in my Bible, that particular group of verses is titled "You Can Ask God for Anything." And for the past year, I grew up in church. Just let me give you a little bit of my story. I grew up in church. My dad is a pastor, so living that life was not easy at all. And growing up, I had an issue of feeling alone. I was the only child, so I grew up that way. And then being a pastor's daughter wasn't easy because it was a very strict household. I couldn't do much. So I wasn't doing everything else that other kids were doing. So when I did get old enough and in high school, I started to do different things and hang with, I didn't necessarily hang with a bad group of kids. It was just me. I can't even blame it on, because a lot of people blame it on the people that you hang with, but it's really on you because you chose those people. But I'm the typical pastor's kid, strict household. I rebelled and just went a different way. Not bad, just I didn't have a I knew God, but I didn't have a close relationship with God. So the past year, I have really been working on, my husband and I have really been working on building our relationship with God, because that's very important in these days and age, and especially for young generation. My age, I'm 27. So for our generation, having a relationship with God is, you have a lot of people that straddle the fence and are in between, and they don't know if, they want to be with God, but they want to be in the world also, and it can't go both ways. It just can't. So that's what we were dealing with, my husband and I. And we just got to the point where we realized that this is not the life we want to live, and we just changed and decided to give our lives completely to God. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been rough and, hard and tough, like it's just not attainable, but it hasn't been easy because there has been a lot of tests. But the scripture that I read was that you can ask God for anything. And when in the Bible did say not anything, it says, when you ask him for something, it can't be selfish, and just of you. It has to be something that aligns with God's purpose for you. And you would have to pray and ask him to align your desires with his purpose. Because your life is a ministry. So everything you do, you are ministering to others, whether you believe it or not. So everything you do, whether good or bad, you can either influence someone on the good side, or you can either influence someone on the bad side. So when you ask God to do things for you, first off, it's saying that once you ask him to, and it's not selfish, like I said, but once you ask him to align your desires with your purpose, then you have to put in work. And in that scripture, it talks about the fig tree and how he approached the fig tree and it looked great and beautiful and it was full of leaves from afar. And then once he got up to it, it had no fruit. So you have to think of yourself the same way. You can look good and appear good and, give off this good vibe, but inside you have to be good too. And it's like you can ask God for something, but you have to put your faith to work, and you have to believe. And that's the main thing. It's like you have to have faith and know that these things that you are asking God for, you can't just ask and then sit back. I've done that a lot. I've asked for a lot of things and then I sit back and I don't do nothing. But that's because I allow fear and worry and doubt and what other people think and just all kind of things get up in my head, and I don't do anything. So I ask God, but I don't put in work. And then later on I'm complaining because nothing is done. I don't see anything happening. But if you realize that when you put your mind to something and then you put in a little work and then you see it come to pass, then that's kind of like you put your faith to work, and then you did it and it came to pass. So you can't just ask God for something and then sit back and just wait. Like I'm sitting here right now. You can't just sit back and wait. You have to put in work. So I thank God. I thank God for this scripture I read. The last few scriptures I've been reading for the past week has really been opening up my eyes, because I did a couple videos about my lifestyle cleanse, and I decided to start that in March after I turned 27, or maybe a couple days before my birthday. And I just decided that for the past 3 years, it's so many things and goals and desires that I have had in my mind and my heart that I would keep going back to. But because I didn't put in work and I was allowing my surroundings to be an issue, and I had negativity, and then I had a lot of things grudges and things that I was holding on to, and it was just burdens on me. And it was things, it took a lot for me to realize that it was just things that I was holding on to for nothing. You can't hold on to negativity or anything and expect to move forward. You have to just let it go, because I had to learn that things that happened in the past, it's the past. I can't go back and change anything. All I can do is just move forward, learn from it, make the necessary changes, talk to God, put in faith, believe, forgive, and keep going. So I can't allow the negativity anymore. I can't allow the fear of what people will think, because that's a big burden. The fear of just things, the worry. You worry about what'll happen, and you think, I can't do this. But if you keep thinking like that, you won't get anywhere. So I thank God for that scripture that I read today in my Bible study this morning. And it was talking about the faith, like I was saying, in the fig tree. And you look at yourself as the fig tree. You're beautiful on the outside from afar. You're full of nice, pretty green leaves. You've bloomed on the you look like that on the outside. But when somebody approach you and learn who you are from the inside,